Gambling is peak. Gambling manga, okay? Gambling manga. Okay, let's get into it. Actually, one more time. Gambling manga. Say it with me now. Gambling manga. Our story commences at a casino. Two guys are playing slots, and as one begins to walk away, the other lets him know he left some winnings behind. A lot of winnings, which he made with only $10. We then learn this good Samaritan is named Kajji, as he's approached by some loan sharks. The other guy makes quick work of them and scares him off. The two then sit down for a chat. The other guy takes a shot in the dark on how Kajji got to this point, and he's on the money. And he's like, with how far you've fallen, you've established your fate as a loser. But luck's on your side now. This may be the one time your altruism actually paid off. And because I owe you one, I'm gonna get back everything you've lost. He then introduces himself.
My name's Baku. I'm just a gambler.
The two then go to another casino, and the two employ a conniving scheme. With it, they pull one over on a crooked roulette table. And after overhearing the name Baku, the dealer recalls a rumor. No, a legend. It was spreading around since a year ago. Within the mythical club, Kakuru, where they performed the darkest of gambles, there was a man that survived countless near-death gambles. His name was Baku Madarame, and his alias, Lie Eater. As for Kajji's debt, Baku walked into the loan office, tricked them out of a bunch of money, and had them closed down within the day. Then, at Kajji's apartment, Baku notices Kajji's private information being sold. He figures out that it was being sold by a movie rental service, and when the two go in to return a late movie, they walk out with a bunch of money and free movies. And after spending these last few days with Baku, Kajji thinks to himself, he's definitely not a bad person, but he definitely isn't a good person either. The pair are back at the casino and they get approached by an old man who invites him back to his place for a little betting game. The two join him, and after some rounds of poker, the vibes are so to liven things up, old man puts up 10 million yen and he says we're playing a new game. All y'all have to do is carry this money out of the building, and that's it. Once you get it, you can take the money home. How about it? And Baku's like, okay, now we're getting to it, but you gotta put up some more money because this building reeks of blood and you smell like a murderer. And the old man's like, you got me, caught, hey, oh, caught. He's like, how about I call in a referee? See, there's this organization called Kake. A couple panels later, Gramps is introducing himself as Club Kakuru's Rank 2 referee. He then explains that Kakuru is an organization that serves as a neutral referee for gambles when their members ask. After the match is decided, their club takes on the responsibility of making sure people pay what they bet, even someone's life. And the club runs deep. And Baku's like, I don't want your 10 million, old man. How about you bet your Kakuru membership? Unless you're scared, I'll take it. And with that, the match is decided. The game is for these two to leave the building. If that is prevented, or if they are otherwise incapacitated, the match is over. The match will begin 1 minute after they leave the room. Other than that, there are no rules. Lie Eater Baku versus Q. I'm gonna call him that instead of old man, because it just occurred to me, this series is over 500 chapters, and wild guess, I'm gonna assume there's gonna be more characters that I could call old man. So Q it is.
Ready? Go!
So the two are on the 5th floor, and there's no power, so they can't use the elevator, which means they have to take the stairs. Q tells Gramps that this building is a connection of choices. Make the wrong one, and you get the picture. The two go up, since downstairs smells like blood. The two make it up to the roof, and Baku asks Kajji to jump. A masked gunman also makes it up to the roof, and while Gramps talks up Baku, there he is, perched up Assassin's Creed style. He gets spotted and offers a deal. He's like, if you let us go, we'll give you some of the money. And he's like, sure, yeah, I won't shoot. Can you move a little forward and throw out the money? You can run while I check it. But he lied. Instead, he aimed his gun and moved all the way to the end. But before he could shoot, Kajji was waiting right where he stood. And you know Baku wouldn't be Baku if he didn't loot. Kajji starts freaking the freak out, and Baku grazes his arm. Part of the plan. Kajji snaps out of it as 3 more gunmen queue into the match. Pun intended. Baku then LARPs as one of them and is able to gather some intel. With it, they're able to disable all the traps on the 6th and 7th floors. Baku then assures Kajji of their victory because Q loves to murder for the pleasure, whereas Baku is playing to win. And that difference in intent is the defining factor for the outcome of this game. One of the 3 holds position, while the other 2 pursue Baku and Kajji. They step into a trap Baku left. Kajji overhears him coming after them, and he's like, what do we do? And Baku's like, calm down, I told you. That weapon will become our lifeline. Pass me the Beretta. And Kajji's like, okay, oops, and fucking drops it. And you may be thinking to yourself, Kajji, you clumsy fuck, clutch up. But to that I say, Kajji's been out of his body. Why did Baku give him the gun? Which is something we'll find out as the 2 leave the gun and run. One of the gunmen advises to proceed with caution in lieu of traps. The other sees the gun on the floor and is like, fuck it. He sprints towards Baku and is like, The other arrives shortly after and comes across a bunch of blood on the floor leading to Kajji. He speaks pompous to him and he then leans in close and tells Q to try harder. Baku then reveals how he did it, and Gramps is like, that's the lie eater, usogui.
Oh, he said it, the title.
Q's like, wait. So I gotta get him. And to do that, he wakes up Marco, and then from there, wakes up Rodemu.
Superstar.
Rodemu's now entered the fray. They take off. A gunman stays. He has the gunman hold a bucket. Q then reveals to Gramps that Marco is his son, and Rodemu is the product of a lifetime of experimentation. A murderous, superpowered second personality that flips at the prick of a syringe. Which reminds Gramps, he's like, Baku used to have power once, but he lost it competing against Kakeru, more specifically the 21st royal leader of Kakeru, Kiruma Shuichi. Baku bet everything, including his life. The leader bet his position, and what they gambled on is if any air vehicle would pass by the area within 30 minutes or not. They sound like the future of parlays. Like, it'll go from, like, which team wins the game to, like, will there be an accident on the I-95 in the next 15 minutes? And what's crazy is, like, that's the end goal. Like, don't gamble, bruh. But yeah, 30 minutes passed. And nothing. It was a flawless victory. And so nothing is what Baku was left with. Only reason he still has his life is because the leader was too bored to take it. But Gramps is like, wait, could this be a part of his trick? Am I, the leader and all of Kakeru, a part of this trick? Q and Baku are both reading each other in real time. Rodemu catches up, and Baku calls him over. He reveals to Q that he's been listening in on him via a wiretap pen he left and Gramps picked up. Q gets heated, and Gramps is like, that's the game, suck it up. So Q's like, man, fuck this, kill him. Rodemu charges into a trap, but Rodemu tanks it. Q then demands he begs for his life, and Baku bites, he plays along. But he's like, please just leave Kajji out of this. And Kaji's like, no, just leave Baku out of this. And the two are just like, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me.
Actually, we're good. My victim is almost decided. Or something.
Rodemu starts tweaking, and Baku says it's because he's soaked in caustic soda. He found it in the building, and the trap wasn't a physical one, but rather a chemical one. And Baku's like, I wonder who's stronger now. And Q's like, it doesn't matter, jump. And as that bullet raced towards Rodemu, Marco only had a single thought. Who was I? Q's like, damn, am I gonna lose? Wait, there's only one referee. If I take him out. And Gramps is like, girl, stop. Baku then walks in like a Redditor, tips Fedora with Riz, and he's like, give me all you got. Q complies, and Baku's like, now that it's my building, you gotta get out. But I'll give you one last chance.
It's time for hunting, and you are the prey. See?
Q's walking out like, he should've killed me. But then Baku hits a mic check, puts a voice changer on, and tells Rodemu to let the hunting begin. Rodemu's blind, with his ears plugged up, only hearing Baku through a voice changer. The caustic soda, actually chlorine and detergent. He then hit him with a muscle relaxer, popped the headset, and watched him go. With Baku's help, Q got a taste of his own medicine, but Baku got bored. He's like, I'm not gonna go through with it. Marco, on the other hand, well, that was all him.
Damn right.
After a quick JoJo's pose, Baku explains how he did it. And Gramps was like, so was your goal to have your own super soldier? And he's like, nah, I don't need anything like that. Besides, he's not a villain. And we see living proof of that. And Q's unconscious body laid up next to a crater. And Q's laid up next to a crater. Alright, bruh. That's why I low-key gotta stick to melodies. I lay down a drum pad and I'm like, fuck it. Crossover star in the building. But yeah, Marco asks Baku, he's like, who am I? And Baku tells him, he's like, you were kidnapped by this man during your childhood, used as a test subject for a wicked experiment. You became a killer in your subconscious. You killed a lot of people. You aren't a killer, but you're not totally innocent either. Innocent? Wait a second. Hold on now. And that's the reality. You are burdened with that sin. Atone. From now on, you have to keep living. And he's like, how could I do that? And Baku's like, you can follow me. I will help you atone for your sins, but I will never ask you to kill a person. And with that, the duo turned trio made it out the building, and Baku made Kajji the Kakeru member. And driving away, Gramps adds on to that little flashback by recalling that when Baku lost, he was smiling. And back at the building, Q gets asked by a presumable big shot who did this to him. He spills the info, and then spills his blood. And on the other side of that coin, we see before Gramps left, he asked Baku what his goal was, and his answer, world peace. Maybe. Days later, a woman walking out on the street gets her bag taken, and Marco soars onto the scene with a Dora the Explorer intro-level leap. If you know, you know. He retrieves the bag and Kajji gives it back to her. Both looking clean, I gotta give it to him. Money looks nice on them. And speaking of money, that girl's bag was filled with winnings she had at a casino. She notices Kajji's walking around with a big duffel bag full of cash close to his chest, gripping for dear life. And she's like, I know somewhere where you can lose that money. And Kajji's like, okay. Because earlier, Baku gave him the 300,000 and told Kajji to lose it as a necessary life lesson before stepping into this world. Because money, even though it looks nice on him,
It does, yeah.
it's just that, money. And money has a way of corrupting people, changing people. And Baku wants to teach Kajji firsthand that money is just a tool. Money does not make the person. It is just something that comes in and comes out. So she takes the two to the shadiest, most money-losiest, to heck with the savings place she could, ran by Crook and Goon, respectively. Crook is crooked, and Goon is... he's there, I guess. Crook's trying to rope in Kajji to play, and Marco, I guess, makes a misunderstanding, and Goon makes a mountain out of a molehill and tries to swing on him, and Kajji just... boom! Stopping whatever that was in its tracks. He said, this is not a turn-based game, this is in real time. But Crook responds with some intimidation to pressure Kajji into folding. And instead, Kajji pushes back. And he's like, you know what, let's gamble. And this is how that goes.
You wanna tell me the odds, so I can figure it out. Info, like it's a safe bet. You gon' have to tell what you know, or don't.
Kajji loses everything. But it can't end like this. Kajji calls in Kakuru, and we get introduced to referee number 1, Noami Toshi. Crook tries getting Kajji to bet his membership, but Kajji turns that down, saying it's not his to give. And Noah's like, regardless, you're not suited for it. My whole thing is that I can judge people's worth. Yours is like 1,000,000 yen. Kajji's, yours is 100 yen. And if you don't have the money to pay it back, we can find a way. Kajji's shocked, but he's like, I'm not that shocked. Regardless, I want to change that. But in order to do so, I gotta change. Both literally and figuratively, Kajji's bag is deeper than that. So with the hidden money he found in the bag, he's resolved to run it back. Noah's like, dude, just lose the membership. And he's like, no, I can't gamble with that. This is my gamble. What I bet on has to be something I have. Kajji versus Crook. Kajji's got his game face on, and all this time with Baku's rubbed off on him. He leads Crook into making assumptions and punishes him for those assumptions. This is his victory, a real gamble, for the first time. He is wasting money, as opposed to being controlled by money. He is controlling the money. After Crook's like, I think I could pull him in. If he's a man controlled by money, I could pull him in. Kajji's like, how can I refuse? Crook's like, got him, it's raps. Why? Because I'm cheating. And so Kajji, in a Baku fashion, uses the cheat to cheat, putting him in between a rock and a hard place, and then a sunken place. Because Crook bet way more than he had, and when he called his people to get the money, they said he was on his own. And so Noah's like, I guess we gotta take a different route. Out steps Chris Lee. You already know, he like, look at the hairstyle, you know he's up to business. Murder business. And Kajji's like, chill, the money's not that important. It's not about the money. And Crook's like, fuck it, I could take him down. And Noah's like, Lee's actually the strongest man among the next generation referee candidates. Their exchange doesn't go well for Crook. And then he looks at Goon and he's like, you're not safe either, buddy. A hand then grabs Chris' shoulder. And Marco's like, try that shit on me. Shit then hits the fan. Then, Rodemu enters. And this ordeal ends with Baku behind Noah's chair, like, hey. And he's like, listen, the troublesome one entered the country. The revolutionist that joined as a member 2 years ago, Sado Kuniiki. That guy who was from a real revolutionist group receives attention as a terrorist even today. And his terror simply involves using violence to spread fear for political aims, an animal-like characteristic. Or rather, a human-like behavior. Sada became a member to participate in terrorist activities, with the goal being nothing but money. He snapped many members penniless in a very short time. All 5 members that competed against him lost all their fortune, and the lives of 2 of them was used as a substitute for the money. Even referees couldn't decipher his formula for victory. It's as if this guy is under divine possession, with even other members keeping their distance. And Baku's like, I don't think any member would gamble with him. But if such a chance appears, then Noah, you'll make sure to see through the scope of his power. Sooner or later, he'll answer the Mansion Pass challenge. And keeping the quiet part quiet, they have the same thing on their minds. Crook and Goon both live, by the way, if you wanted to know. But we're moving on. as Sada stacks up chips at Yuka's casino. I'm calling her that because she's always in a yukata. She watches while pontificating possible scenarios that may play out amidst an altercation, and as if almost sensing her intent, Sada gets up as someone collects his winnings and backs out, because if he crushed them flashily, he'd be met with a bigger fish than he was willing to fry, especially since he has another fish to fillet, Baku. Speaking of, Noah told Kajji that Baku had previously killed one of his friends and grapples with the possibility that Baku might be using him. But then Baku hits him with a good boy, and Kaji's like, well, there goes the rest of my life. Geeked off a grin. I'd call it inconceivable glaze, but then again, I've never met the man. Like, Spartans did die for Leonidas, so like, there could be a potential charisma that could drive someone to give up their life, but like, yeesh, bro. I don't think, I like, off the principle, I don't know. It's like, I want to do my own thing, you know what I mean? Nah, I just heard this back. Like, why am I giggling and like thinking about it though? A few chapters later, I'm like, you know what, Kajji might be onto something. But yeah, showdown between Baku and Sada is coming, just like the veins are coming out of his head as he declares to take him down, along with all the other gamblers and Kakeru as a whole. But what I don't get though is like, if he's a political activist and like he hates gambling this much, why not like lobby for anti-gambling policy, you know, some institutional change? He clearly has the resources for it and the ability to garner more, so terrorism just feels kind of antithetical to what he wants, or what he claims to want. It's like if a guy who was super pro gun control was like, fuck it, I'm gonna murder everyone with a gun because murder's bad. It's like, you don't see what you're doing, like, you know what I mean? And I actually didn't plan this, but speaking of guy with gun, Gramps does just that, giving us some clean panels as he collects his payment. And then while chatting to a corpse, he's like, only people who are working and striving towards something, giving us yet again, but another segue, this time leading into Baku and Sada's aforementioned clash. So let's get ready to rumble. And speaking of rumble, no, I'm not on Rumble or sponsored by Steak or anything. I'm sponsored by you guys. But if you're looking to rumble, I highly suggest checking out the latest and greatest, don't forget, long awaited iteration to the Rikudo series, part 2. It's the latest video on this channel, and I believe well worth the wait. So if after this you want to float like a butterfly on over and sting like a bee, that like button, that subscribe button, that share button, that'd be much obliged. Thank you. That would be knockout. I don't know. You'd be the champ. There it is. We got there. And so did all of Kakeru outside of this tunnel. We got Gramps as Baku's referee because when two members go against each other, they each get their own respective ref. But for this gamble, only 2 members of each party can go in. So Baku and Kajji go in, and Baku gives a special side mission for Marco. That'll be important later. Inside, the aura is palpable, but so is the tension. Things get heated, and so does the barrel on Kajji's gun. It was after Baku got wounded though. W-mans. And this animosity in action is coming from Sada's soul in response to Baku's initial wager. It's not enough. How much does he want? $1 billion. And the B in Baku doesn't stand for billion. He doesn't have it. But someone does. A few someones actually. The man owners. They're invited in and they're basically investors of a gamble, right? They put up money, and if, you know, who they're betting on wins, they take in more profit. It's time to invest, and 1 million, 5 million, 4 million, 3 million, 2 million, 10 million, 6 million, 15 million, 20 million, 6 million, 4 million, 6 million, 30 million, 5 million, 20 million, 1 million, 6 million. All in all, 2.5 billion. And as the top investor, you could suggest losing means death by Hangman, and the others agree. Hangman, 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 6 million. As for the rules, it'll go like this. The 2 are going to play Old Maid, with each round, one of the 2 being given a Hangman card. That card will be assigned a random number, and whoever ends up with it, after taking turns picking each other's cards out and discarding the pairs, will get as many points as the card's number dictates. Get 11 points, and you're the loser. Points are bad in this scenario. It's like golf. Also, funny enough, another rich people game. Just saying. And so without further ado, Baku versus Sada. Let the game begin.
But I hope that you never went by. I'm stuck, just sit by the tide. And you know that I'm watching the shore, but now the horizon is wide. I'm hoping to open your eyes. I'm seeing the 4th of July. You said you'd tell me the truth. I'm taking your word, but your actions make lies.
So Baku comes out on top, setting up Sada to hang down from up top, a scaffold. How did he do it? See, Sada was seeing through all the different cameras set up in the room for the man owners to watch. Baku saw through that and punished him for it. But as this was occurring, the real high-stakes match was brewing in the background. See, on the other side of that tunnel, Sada's comrades are setting up missiles to be launched into Japan. And to handle this situation, there are two people out there. Yuka's top dog, or cat, Leo, and Marco. And after this gamble, Sada's referee challenges Gramps to a duel. I'm gonna nickname him Earlobe for no particular reason. And Earlobe is the 10th referee. Gramps is the number 2 referee, as we know. And in Kakeru's rule states that if a ref takes down the other in a challenge, they consequently take the other's rank as well. And Gramps toys with him. Instead of playing Gotcha Nose, he plays Gotcha Earlobe. Here are some panels from their tussle. Wait, what was that second noise? That one wasn't me. Yeah, that one. There it goes again. It's almost extraterrestrial. Like it came from an alien. And that alien is the leader. He's even got his own Gramps, a Gramps Prime, if you will, who immediately stomped out Sada's comrade upon entry. Sada attempts retaliating and is almost killed for doing so. He's saved by Earlobe, who then says the gamble's still in progress and Sada has to die by hanging. And leader is like, oh, Sada, oh, you're Sada, the one who tried launching those missiles. Now this may be a bit of an assumption, but those comrades of yours should all be wiped out by now, I guess. You're about to join them, but don't worry. Those missiles, they'll still go off. And you'll be written in the pages of history. You'll be a great revolutionary, you're lucky. And Baku's like, is it okay? I mean, it's okay to launch the missiles, I don't really care. But this time you'll be the target. See, one of my friends, he has a pure heart, never forgives evil. He's truly the ally of justice. And that friend of mine can snatch those missiles and prevent them from launching. And then we'll use them for something meaningful. And leader's like, Prime, who is this guy? And Prime goes, and he's like, oh yeah, that did happen. All right, you know what? Yeah, let me confiscate his life. Let me get that. Prime attacks, but Gramps stops him and he's like, remember, the game's still going and violence is prohibited. After the number challenge between me and Earlobe, Sada will be hung and then Baku will get his money. Until then, back off. And leader's like, I see. Okay. Yeah, let's hold off on that for now. So the clock is running. If Marco can't make it in time, that's the end of Baku. And he's like, I bet everything. If I'm already gonna die, I might as well get my run back. I'm going all in. Missiles will not be launched. And Yuka's like, yeah, same, me too. And so, Baku's fate, along with a whole missiles launched worth of people, is dependent on Marco. But besides Leo and the other revolutionaries, they're not the only ones fighting. Leader also sent someone of his own, a single man, referred to as the perfect bodyguard, Kiara. So place your bets in the comment section and let the game begin. Let's gamble. Thank you for watching. But real quick, I gotta say this. Gambling is a problem. I do not condone it. Please be safe. Please be responsible. It's a truly dangerous affliction and a life-altering addiction. So if you or someone you know is currently caught in its throes, contact these hotlines or any of the links below. I love you, and please do not give up. And on the topic, probability, odds, and most of all luck are thrown around a lot in this manga. You know, things you can't control. And one thing I really like about Baku isn't just like his, insane gambling prowess, but it's his perspective and his ability to shift it on a dime. His opponent will come with some incomprehensible cheat, and instead of calling it out once he finds it or coming with his own, he takes advantage of it. He sees the positive of it. He sees how he could spin it around. He sees how he could turn the tables. And I love my tables. Hearts in chat. But that adaptable mindset, I think, is something really useful that could help a lot of people outside of, fictitious gambling. And I got a little something I put together from RDC World that I think goes into what I mean here and puts it pretty nicely.
The universe does nothing but prepare. 1, everything is always on time. 2, and number 3, when you feel like the universe is on you, all you have to do is switch your thoughts. You have to think positive. Only you can tell you what your day is. Can't nobody else tell you you had a bad day. You feel me? Can't nobody else tell you you had a bad day. Can't nobody else tell you you had a good day. You have to determine if you had a good or bad day.
All right, now on to the parasocial powwow. I love you and thank you for the love. Now, truth be told, I'm recording this shortly after the Rikudo video, which I recorded shortly after finishing the Dragon and Chameleon video. So I don't know what this love supposedly looks like. Hopefully it's on the screen. If not, I know it's in your hearts because it's in mine. What am I saying, bro? I'm tired. I gotta go to sleep. I work early in the morning, which I really hope I won't have to do anymore because this would take its place instead when I quit to go full-time at 100,000 subscribers with your help. And to that end, if you like what I'm doing, please support this channel any way you can. You know, like the videos, hype the videos, share the videos, comment, watch another, subscribe to the Patreon, subscribe, like whatever you can do, whatever you can manage, whatever's within your means is immensely appreciated in whatever form that may be. And as for food, got this giant tuna salad I made from taking leftover salad from work with a bunch of tuna packets I had for like years of like different flavors, like the flavored ones, like 4 different ones, I think. And it was a gamble, but a delicious one that paid off, which I'm hoping, you know, this work that I'm putting in, it'll be, hey, I gotta manifest. I love you tables, I love you subs, and I'm flipping a coin right now. If it lands on heads, then I'll keep this video going. Fuck it, 60 more chapters. Hey Siri, can you flip a coin for me, please? Thank you. Oh my gosh, tails. No way. Damn. Well, bye.
But I hope that you never went by. I'm stuck, just sit by the tide. And you know that I'm watching the shore. But now the horizon is wide. I'm hoping to open your eyes. I'm seeing the 4th of July. You said you'd tell me the truth. I'm taking your word, but your actions make lies. Sad to say, I gotta say bye. I got no moments to waste now. Child, I used to know. My best crush, I don't even know if we say hi or love. Don't think that's how it would go. Don't even know if we chat, much less last.